Only a weekend's worth of games since the All-Star break, so not a lot can change in Power Rankings, but there is something to take notice of in this week's Top 5. Hey, how are you folks? Jason Horowitz, CBSSports.com writer, Larry Dobrow. Glad to be with you. Power Rankings the week of 7/20. And Larry, you've got the Dodgers back at 1 after a weekend's worth of games. They've been flip-flopping with the Red Sox for a few weeks now. But one thing that I think that's really crucial here is that in your Top 5, you have 3 teams from the AL East. What differentiates those 3?
Well, the Yankees and Red Sox have some resources. It's a very under-the-radar story that nobody's talked about, but they spend more money than other teams, and from what I understand, most people want to make more money than less money, so they get the best players that way. More seriously, the Yankees and Red Sox have actually been pretty smart developmentally, especially the Red Sox, but the Yankees now too. I mean, guys like Phil Hughes, obviously Jabba Chamberlain is the one who has held out. The Yankees have been smart with young players. Then you have the Rays, who have been super smart with young players. They've finally gotten a little bit of luck. They're the most athletic team in baseball by such a wide margin. Stick the 3 of them in the same division. It's going to be the first time in history, I think, you have 3 90-win teams in the same division.
And, of course, at most, only 2 could make the playoffs. Now, it's also interesting to note that the only team you have from the National League in your Top 5 is the Dodgers, and understandably so. But who else may be on that cusp of getting closer there from the NL?
Well, I think you have to talk about the Phillies. They haven't really wiped anybody out. They haven't played great teams. But the bottom line is, if you're a very good team, you have to be pounding on the Marlins of the world. You have to be pounding on the Nationals of the world. And that's what the Phillies have been doing consistently for 2 weeks after they had a pretty rough stretch where over 24 games, they were something like, 8-16. They're pitching exceedingly well. I think it's what a lot of people are missing. Everybody thinks about the Phillies. They think about Howard and Utley and Victorino and Worth and, well, not Jimmy Rollins anymore, but the offense is what comes up. But J.A. Happ has been terrific. Cole Hamels has shown some signs of being the pitcher that he was last year during the playoffs. It's a very good team.
And Happ had a shutout on Sunday against the Marlins that you just mentioned. Now, they get the Cubs this week for a 3-game set to start this week. They won all 4 games since the break against the Nationals. But when you look at Chicago, are you talking about a team on the rise here?
I think they are. Again, games against the Nationals, you have to win them, but they do still count in the standings. So, congratulations to everybody in Wrigley Land. What the Cubs are right now, they're healthy. Aramis Ramirez, you stick that bat in the lineup versus what they were getting at third base. Mike Fontenot wasn't doing much. Jake Fox is a wonderful story, but let's be honest, he's a career minor leaguer. He's kind of the textbook definition of a 4A player. Pitching-wise, Rich Harden's still not entirely right, but right enough. Defensively, they're still not a terrific team, but somehow whenever Alfonso Soriano gets his manhood challenged, all of a sudden he starts catching the ball, running after flies, and hitting the ball. It's a pretty good team right now.
And
pretty quietly.
Healthy it was the key there, and that's exactly what they're doing. We'll see if they can go on a run here in the last 72 games of the season. Now, we don't usually talk about the bottom here of your power rankings. We like to get teams that are closer to the top and talk about the teams at the top, but you made a statement to me earlier this weekend that you said you think the Padres could be as bad or worse than the Nationals. Explain that to somebody else who actually could buy into your argument.
Well, here we are on Monday morning. If you look at the run differentials, how many runs have been scored, how many runs have been allowed, the 2 teams are roughly equal. The Nationals have much more power in their lineup. The Padres have nobody. Chris Young's hurt. Peavy's hurt. They're getting players nailed with random beanings. The Padres, I think, are going to be pretty much the league's patsy for the rest of the season. The Nationals at least have some young players. They'll generate some excitement when Steven Strasburg signs a contract and comes up later in the year. I'm not sure that the Nationals will catch up records-wise. Frankly, if you're a Nationals fan, you don't want to catch up records-wise. You want to get another number 1 pick like you had this year. But I think they're a better team than the Padres.
You think anybody just bought your argument?
No.
All right, we'll see. You can check out the entire list of power rankings on CBSSports.com, and you can make the feedback there at the bottom, and we'll see what Larry has to say about that next week. For Larry Dobrow, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care, folks.
All right.